All right, man. Let's go live. Let's start it up, John. Let's do this. Let's do this shit. We'll hit the
Sure,
go
man.
live button on Instagram as well. Um, Everybody, welcome in. Welcome in. This is we've sent links out everywhere to as many people as possible. Across as many platforms as possible.
Yes, sir.
This has been really cool to get you in here. This is John, former LSU national champion, running back John Emery Jr., who not only it's not only that John played on that 2019 team, it's also that John really experienced pretty much the entire history of LSU from 2019 on. Like, you've been there, you've played with everybody from Burrow to Brennan to Finley to Max Johnson to even Garrett Nussmeier. You've played with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, they know you, they've cheered you on, they've watched you rise as a 5-star. You've played with 2 Heisman winning quarterbacks as well, both of the Heisman winning
Mm-hmm.
quarterbacks, Burrow and Daniels, 2019, 2023. But you also went
Yeah.
through a lot of adversity, more than I think any single football player I've ever seen take on in a single career. And this is Mr. John Emery Jr., a really awesome Tiger, iconic LSU Tiger, the Bayou Blur, as I like to call him. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me, Lon. For real, for real. I'm grateful, man. I'm blessed that I'm on here, man. I know we've been wanting to, we've been wanting to make this happen, man. I'm glad I'm here.
Oh, John, it's awesome to have you here. I mean, how's your by the way, how's your pops doing? Because I always love talking to your dad. Happy Father's Day, belated Father's Day to him as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, Pops, he's doing good, bro. He's doing good. You know, he's standing in Baton Rouge, right around the corner from LSU Stadium. He's doing good, man. You know what he doing. He's still been doing the same thing for the last like 15 years. He's a mentor for the kids, you know. So he's still doing that, man. So, yeah, and I appreciate you. I know you speak high level, and I know you rock with him, man. So I wanted to tell you this the other day that I let him know that you was asking about him and speaking highly of him, and he had a smile on his face for sure, for sure.
Oh, hell yes. That
Yeah,
means
man.
a lot. I'm gonna reach out to him after
Mm-hmm.
this again because Big John, gotta love Big John. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and happy Father's Day to you, Big John. If you didn't hear me mean that earlier, but that's totally the message behind that. But John, take me back to like the very beginning. Did you, when you first were playing football, you're running around the backyard, you're running around playing in the neighborhood, even before pads, even before helmets, we're usually playing it in the street, in the backyard, whatever. Did you always want to play running back from the very beginning? Did you always want to be a star running back?
Honestly, for those who don't know, I started playing football at 6 years old, right? Um, and that was my position. I played like when I first started, I played running back, and on defense, I played linebacker. Then I would throughout the years, like doing recreational football, I would go from safety to linebacker. But honestly, I just wanted the ball in my hands as a young kid when I was playing recreational, because I was fast, man. I know how to outrun people. I know how to score a touchdown. So like I just wanted the ball in my hands, and I would say soon as I really got, so I say soon as like when I got to middle school, that's when it was like, yeah, I need to be playing running back. This is the position for real, for real. So
And
yeah.
that, and that's what's very strange because here's the thing: you really only you had one eye that was workable, right, at the time. Only one
Oh
workable eye.
well, you know what's crazy about that? Really with the eye thing, it really started with that was like middle school, late middle school. That's when my eye really started really to go bad, I would say. So from 8th grade, middle school, and then the whole time in high school and my freshman year in college, yes, I
Okay.
had one eye. Yeah, one eye. I mean, one eye working. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and what caused that? Because like I mean that's incredible that you were able to just go through all of that with just having one eye and be able to have that vision, be able to see the creases, see those
Mm-hmm.
little seams. I mean, these aren't just the gaping holes that like any running back can see and then hit that with the speed that you have. These are those little creases that like separate you from the 3 or 4 stars. What made you a 5 star back? Like, how did you have that
Mm-hmm.
vision, man? Like, do you think not having both eyes actually helped in some weird way?
um, honestly, man, I'm still in disbelief myself on how I made it looks like I had two eyes, you know. But like it wasn't a huge factor like throughout my time in high school. Like I just would, it was a feel thing, you know. I would predict the hole to be open. I would look, cause I still had one eye working. People people function with one eye. Some people only got one eye and they able to function and still do things in life. And I would say the only thing it affected me in is when I had to catch running a route towards the right. Like if I had to run a flat towards the right, or like a out route running right, and and the quarterback would be, I would be looking inside this eye. It was to my right eye. That's when it would affect me because like I would basically be blocking the vision of this eye. It would be the far sided eye if I'm running right. And yeah, it was just catching, but other than that, man, like when I ran a ball, it was kind of easy for me because like I was square. I was able to still see with my left eye, and I made it work until like as soon as in college you got to be able to. As soon as you get to that level, that next level, that's when you got to be able to catch the ball for real, run routes. And with that 2019 offense, like they was throwing that ball, we used to run that choice route, you know. And you had to be able to catch it a lot, man, with Joe Burrow back there. So like they made it a priority for me to be able to catch it. So I had to get my eye fixed. I had to get that LASIK surgery. But nah, though, man, it was
Of course.
it was just a natural. Sometimes, like I even tell people this today, like you just got that natural feeling. I honestly think people is just born with it. With like as far as running backs, just
I
knowing how to, like just knowing how to hit that hole, knowing how to play ball, having that IQ for real on the field.
when
Like
you said the feel of it
yeah,
was like the only way that you could
mm-hmm.
kind of describe it. I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah.
Honestly,
And you can
honestly.
see it. We've got the proof here. I mean, it's just crazy. It's. Were there any struggles though when you were trying to figure out like how do I deal with what I've got? How do I make this situation
Oh man, you got
benefit?
this clip.
Absolutely, man.
That's what, I was just looking at this clip the other day, bro. I forgot I posted this online.
This is before the LASIK.
Yep, yep. This is before the LASIK. This is the 2019 season. Yep. This is fall camp right here, going into the 2019 season.
And you see that just that little
Yep, yep. Man, that's hard to do. I tell you that. That's hard to create that and find that hole for real, for real.
what you know so there was never really like a moment where you like because of the bad eye like you ran into like a really horrible hit that was just like oh my god like
Hmm.
this situation is gonna get me maybe hurt or something like this it just I'm shaking my head man like this is just incredible that you were able to overcome this thing and make it work in your favor.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like I would say, you know what? It would have when I would see somebody come from my right side, and I wasn't aware. I wouldn't be aware of them. I guess that would play a factor with my right eye. Not working during that time. But like I said, like my neck still was working. I was able to turn my head a lot and able to, like I said, feel it, man.
What you
Yeah.
did in high school was, it was unquestionable. That's why I'm just like, I've always wanted to ask you, because I'm like, how the hell
Hmm.
did he do this? Like, I watched a lot of your film, John, before you even got on campus. But before you really
Hmm.
turned on it at Destrehan, did you ever feel like coaches or recruiters doubted you because of your eye? Like, did you feel like, until you really like went off, there was some doubt there?
Yeah, you know what? Throughout high school, not nobody really knew about my eye, unless I'm mistaken. But no, like it wasn't known. Or the only people that knew was my high school coaches. And that was like my junior year when I was already like a 5-star, 4-star at the time. But
Fantastic.
like yeah, like I didn't really complain about it and that's when I really just started getting annoyed with it. When I would and I actually tried to wear contacts that year, my junior year. I
Okay.
tried to yeah, my junior year in high school. I tried to wear contacts, man, and I just didn't hold like the ordeal.
Oh,
I
I
didn't
can't
like,
stand them.
if like having to put them in. And my problem was taking them out. I don't even like people touching my eyeball. I don't like touching my eyeball. It's weird.
Me too.
Um, yeah, it's weird as hell, bro. And like, I didn't want what goggles. I didn't want to have to do. I didn't. I didn't want that to be the swag, bro. So um, yeah, people didn't know though. People didn't know. So like, I
That's
would say it became a doubt for coaches when I got to LSU, right? Because they didn't want me to during that time with my eye being messed up my freshman year. They didn't want me to run. I remember during practice, they didn't want me to run like certain routes. If we knew, like the coaches knew us on the script, like
really
the running back had a flat towards the right, or any route going towards the right, or if we had to run a rail running left and I had to look right, they didn't want me running it, right? Because anytime like I had no room for error. I couldn't drop the ball at all. And like it did affect me with catching the ball. Like that was the major thing. With running, I really wasn't aware of it because I still made it happen. It's not like people will come blindside me when I'm running a rock and just come rock me from the right side. Like I was able to make it work running the ball, just having to spot that ball in the air.
yes.
And like it will be weird. I could even tell you this. The like for them when they found out about it and they started the test. Shout out my guy Jack Marucci, right? He's awesome. If you know Jack Marucci,
Legend.
he
Genius.
legend, genius. Yes, yes.
Like,
Well,
ooh.
what you was about to say?
I was just saying, just like, he's our secret weapon, man.
No, literally, bro. You like, if you got Jack and Rucci on your team, bro, and on your side, you're lucky. But so what we did though, right? It was a test because he loves making like tests and inventing like tests, just doing a lot of tests on the athletes, right? He basically put these goggles on me, right? To where like it could record your eyes as you're running routes catching the ball. So like he recorded my eyes as I'm running routes on the practice field, and every time I would try to look for the ball with my this being my strong sided eye, the right sided eye, and this being my left eye being the far sided eye. Basically, it's weird, bro. And he probably still got the footage. I'm gonna have to get the footage and send it to you.
That'd be
When I
cool.
would be when I would try to look for the ball and spot the ball, the right eye that was messed up, it would literally I would be cockeyed. This eye you'd be looking far up somewhere or anywhere in space, and this eye will be trying to track it, right? Actually look for it. Yeah, so it was yeah, bro, it was crazy. And like I said, that was the only doubt as far as when it came with me having to run routes to the, trying to look for the ball coming from my right side. So other than that, though, with running the ball, with run plays, that wasn't no problem. If even in the game during times like my freshman year, it wasn't no like if I was in the game, they wasn't about to take me out, then and do all that and put somebody in to run that play. It was just usually at practice, like I said, and running routes, and like, they didn't want me to. Cause like I ain't gonna lie, I would drop it sometimes. Sometimes I will be able to catch it still, but a couple of times I would drop it, because I would be trying to fight, looking for that extra ball. So
That's
yeah,
so cool
man,
though that once again another story of Jack Marucci like taking
he's
this
awesome.
absolute genius to help a
Yes,
player and like, hey, you know what? We got to fix that eye. And
yeah, man.
John,
Yes.
when you first arrived at LSU, your freshman year, you're so lucky, man. It was the 2019 season. I mean, your freshman year, you walk right into the 2019 season team, man. I mean, that fact alone, how incredible is that timing to you? Do you ever think about that?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I think about that a lot, bro. I talk about it too to people, and people come to me and tell me, it was unexpected, man. I was in a moment of just being that freshman, getting the feel of college, and I did not think, and like, me, I was just coming from high school. I was just focused on my trying to win a championship, man. I wasn't really deep diving into the players that we had on our team. Of course, I knew who Justin Jefferson was, Joe Burrow, Patrick Quinn, the Jamar Chase. I knew who they was. I know
You
what type
played
of
against a
players.
lot of yep
Right? Exactly. So, but
camps, seven
but
on seven.
exactly right. The Nike camp with Jamar, like, yeah, yeah, and I played with Justin Jefferson.
Exactly.
You don't know, but it was so crazy that with that team, man, and it was really like a dream. It was like something out of a movie how it happened. It's like with that team, we just really played ball. We wasn't even trying to. We just wanted to execute on every play. That's how it was even on the off season or practice. We didn't even like really set our eyes that far down the line with it. We was just trying to win with the little things and win that play, right? And like everybody was in the moment, and then it just made it so even cooler that we got that locker room too. Like we got yep, the locker room was finished getting renovated that year, and it was awesome, bro. It was a movie.
That's the thing is a lot of people talk about the stats and things like that. What was the feeling like around that team when winter workouts first started and then spring camp kind of first started? What did you really sense that this team is something? I'm walking into something here really good. I'm really
Yeah.
glad I'm part of this.
Man, I would say when yes, I did sense that. When did I sense it? I sensed it. Um, I would say after the first game.
Georgia.
It really, no, my bad. After against Texas,
Okay,
but
okay.
like I said though, like everybody was really you really. I'm trying to let me explain it like this. We was going back and forth we was so good on both sides of the ball during the off season. We were going at it back and forth, and our offense was so unstoppable. And you can ask anybody that was on that team. Our offense was so unstoppable. We were the one dominating the defense. So I'm gonna be real. It got to a point where we thought our defense was gonna be, like a problem, just a little, just because our offense. You got to see who we had on the offense though.
There
But
were games where it legitimately looked like you guys were like, we need to just outscore this opponent. Just boom, boom, boom.
no, literally.
It was like, oh my god! I literally walked out the room for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, then walked back. I'm like, they're kicking an extra point. What the hell? Just it was madness, man.
No, for real, man. It was like out of a game, like how we was playing.
It was like watching NASCAR on meth or something. It was
Bruh.
like
Yeah.
pedal to the metal nonstop.
No, literally, bro. It was like everybody was like you put you play Madden or whatnot or NCAA. It's like you put 99 sliders up for
Yeah,
everybody, for all 11, even the old linemen. Um, yeah, man. And I think about during the off season, doing all that work and all the practice, I say we had some great leaders on that team, bro. That set the standard. They really was focused on not having the season they had the year before. And Joe was hungry. You could see it in his eyes. He didn't even have to say much. Joe Burrow was hungry, bro. He did not have to say much. And like you can just it was just all energy, man. And nobody would disrespect each other. It's only time it will get disrespectful is when we going head up 1v1, one against one on the field. And that's how it should be, right? But it's still our love once we get in the locker room. Um, but I think we really drove that spark into the defense, and the defense too would do the same on to us. But like I think we pushed each other. It was really iron sharpened iron. That's what it was. So man, it was just I was so in the moment, man. And, I like I said, it was unexpected. I didn't think we was gonna take it that far before the season. Like I said, I realized we were special. Texas A&M. I mean Texas University, bro. That was the game that did it for me.
right there in front of Matthew McConaughey kicking Longhorn ass. Uh,
That's it.
what, what were your first impressions of Joe Burrow when you show up on campus and you're in camp with him? You're doing these plays.
Uh-huh. Honestly, my first impression, Joe didn't talk as much, right? He was like smooth, bro. He was smooth. He would come in, come to work, handle what he needed to handle. But I would say it became an eye opener for me with him when once he, started really diming and completing every pass. It was and like he wasn't it was bro, you could probably count on your fingers how many bad passes he was throwing. He was like he started to get real hot, especially when the season kicked off, right?
Yeah,
And but like with me and Joe, like he meant business, right? And like the only time we would talk is when I actually got a rep with him, and when I got in, and it'll be a couple times he'll be like, "Hey John," I'll be like, "Hey Joe," and that's all it was, right? But he was a sensation, honestly, brother, he was a sensation.
what I've asked a few other 2019 LSU Tigers about this, but how did Joe? So he ran that locker room in a very kind of smooth operating, quiet, chill way. Like there was never any
Hmm.
like, hey, I'm gonna. He never had like a kind of get mad at the team, kind of like put the fear of God into the players moment. Nothing like that. It was just kind of like a very just even killed the whole time in 2019, just the whole time.
I, most of the time, and like some guys, bro, you can just lead by example, right? And that's for real. You can lead by energy. You can lead by emotions. You can lead by body language. Like he was
Absolutely.
big by his walk, his and talk. Of course, he had moments though where he would turn it up a notch, especially like during practice, during workouts, like when we had to fight and get that extra rep, or like I know it's on the internet. I seen it where they talk about him in that was Patrick Queen.
Yep. The fight.
Yep, yeah, yeah. Like that right there that turned that turned everybody. I know it turned me up in a couple of my other teammates, but like it was that like when you see somebody that's smooth and quiet but handling business, and then when they vocal and they turn it up like that, bro. That's like everybody like oh. That
Well,
and that's the quarterback. So yeah, like it was a,
usually people kind of like, oh, he's out of control. He can't handle his emotions like he usually can. But like in the football world, it's like if it directed in the perfect way, it's like
yeah.
he's just like this very smooth kind of smooth operating,
Hmm.
quieter, more reserved leader. But nevertheless, this was Joe Burrow's locker room, or did it just feel like there's a lot of different leaders to this team?
Yeah, I would say it probably it was a lot of leaders on that team, man. It was.
So many
Um
freaks.
and he was just one of them. It was a whole it was literally like what Coach O brought to that team, what was the saying? It was one team, one heartbeat, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh that's really was and that's what it's gonna take to win a championship. It's just not gonna take like and but I would say when he spoke, people listen, right? The whole team listened, and he walked with he walked with with courage, and you can tell he was hungry, bro. Like it's but yeah, we had a lot of leaders, man.
I
We
mean,
had okay,
Joe, you, Clyde, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall, Thad Moss, Derek Stingley Jr.
yeah,
as a freshman, Grant Delpit, Caleb
yeah,
on, Jason, Queen.
yeah,
I mean, who
yeah.
do you think was the most important and most like valuable to that 2019 squad, John?
Valuable.
Like outside of
That's
Joe.
a good question. That's a good question. Because we had a lot of valuable pieces,
Yes.
as you just named. The most valuable, I would say, because you need, like at the end of the day, you need a vocal leader. Somebody that's the same age, same and doing the same thing as you doing, playing football, right? And showing that, look, bro, we can be different, right? And talking about it though, right? I would say, yeah, Caleb was
Ooh.
he was a good piece during that year, with the energy he brought, his vocalness, and
Wow.
um,
I
yeah,
love
bro,
because we've seen. Okay, you're taking me back, man. Because I
yeah,
remember a lot of images of him kind of taking people to task on the sidelines, but
uh-huh,
none of that was ever talked about since then. Caleb on
yeah,
Chase being such a damn leader on that 2019 team.
no,
Wow.
for sure, and then he had 18 that year, right? Am I
Yes.
mistaken?
Yes. Yes.
Right, yeah, and like,
Season that year.
and like, and bro, like he, whoever put that 18 jersey on, you're you the heartbeat.
Yes.
You holding yourself up, and you gotta hold the team up in LSU up to a certain standard, right? And he did great with it. And like we needed him, and we also needed Joe Burrow. We also needed Patrick Queen. We also needed like so many people, brother. And it wasn't just them, but I feel like Caleb on Chase, and he was like that big brother for real, right? He was like that big brother everybody needed
That
on
just
that
blows my
team.
mind.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And everybody led in their own way. And like I don't want to like put I see I don't want to put people on levels and
Yes.
pedestals, right? Because it was just so many, it was amazing, right? Where
Well, look at
everybody played their part.
I think Kerry Vincent had like 5 interceptions that year, and he was like a backup corner. Like he had like 5 picks.
Yep,
Like,
yep,
like the
yep,
team, you had 4 touchdowns as a freshman running back,
yeah.
including scoring, of course,
Mm-hmm.
against Oklahoma here in the college football playoff
Oh
semifinal
yeah.
game. You
Mm-hmm.
know, LSU that season, man, LSU threw for 63 touchdown passes, but you guys also rushed for 32 touchdowns. Insane. And you
That's
ran the ball
crazy.
incredibly well. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had probably one of the greatest seasons I've ever seen.
Yes, he did.
One of my favorite running back seasons, my man. And then both
Yes,
you
yes.
and then both you and fellow freshman Ty Davis Price combined for 10 touchdowns between you two. Ty
Yep.
had 6, you had 4. What was it like being part of one of the greatest running back rooms in LSU history?
And I'm blessed to say I was a part of that team, and it taught me a lot going forward, right? And just in life, not just football. It taught me a lot, man. And like I said, I'm grateful, and I would say being on that team, what I've realized when you have so many leaders on the team in the inner room and people leaders that's not just vocal, but that can lead by example without even saying a word, you will bring stars in the shadows. You will shine a light on people that you won't even see coming, right? And that's
Absolutely.
just you look, you say what Kerry Vincent, you say Clyde, and then who thought we was gonna have a O line like that?
Yeah,
That's what leaders do, bro. Like that's just what leaders do. And they, bro, it was just amazing, man. And like I said, bro, and I I wish anybody that's working that hard and being a leader like that and and really have talent like that on their team, I wish them to win the championship because, bro, it's one of the most amazing feelings. In the locker room we had, it was even amazing. It was even more. It
oh,
was on the same level as the play, bro. I feel like everybody need to, like, you don't need no toxicness in the locker room, and that we didn't. Anytime we would bark and fight on the field, as soon as we walked through that door, it was like a portal. Soon as you
exactly.
walk, you feel me? That's how it was for real, for real. And every aspect of that year was amazing. Literally, I can't say nothing negative about it. And like
Man,
I said, I'm grateful, and I can't wait to show my kids and tell my kids in the future. Honestly.
not only were you a part of it, man, you were a key part of it, and then also winning a national title in the city of New Orleans uh,
Oh man.
with your parents there, of course, your family there. Was that your favorite game of the season, or what was your favorite game of that 2019 season? What game do you really like have such vivid memories of, and was like, man, that was epic, you know?
Um, we had so many amazing games, but that I was gonna bring that up. That was one of the most coolest moments because we won in our city, right? We
Yep.
won the championship in our state, and like you can't, especially with a team like that, you can't ask for no. It's like God placed this on the timeline for that moment, right? Then it was right before COVID. It was just like the cherry on top, right? The
It's crazy. It was
yeah,
about to write a book called "The Last College Football Team" about the 2019 Tigers and how college football wasn't going to exist anymore. Like COVID was getting weird, man, for the first couple months there. Like people were,
no, for real.
that was madness. But
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't. That's a good question, man. I can't sit here and tell you though. Like one of the most memorable games, one of my favorite games. I say the game that Clyde had when he went crazy against Arkansas, and that Oklahoma
yeah,
game was outstanding to watch. To see
bro,
how we
yes.
dominated, you
Okay.
know.
This is why okay. I'm so okay. This is the great conversation, my man, because you just brought it up. Oklahoma. I wanted to bring this
Yes.
up. I'm so glad you mentioned Oklahoma because not only is Clyde with a messed up hamstring trucking over people, but
Oh
so is
man, I forgot
Ty
about
Davis
that.
Price, and then so are you. All three
Yeah.
of you guys are running over and flattening, absolutely flattening Oklahoma defenders.
Hmm.
Was that a competition of like your next batter up?
Honestly, like that game right there, especially with Clyde having his hamstring ordeal, and to see him fight and still come in and do what he had to do, right, to make sure we won that game, right? That right there was just a straight determination. It was just like I said, I know I said it a couple times. It was like out of a movie, right? And then like Tyrion holding it down, and I come in. It was like next man up mentality. Like
Each one of you guys are just like literally lowering the head and just absolutely lowering the boom
yeah,
on each
man.
one of these guys,
I,
and it was just
yes,
oh
yeah, I remember. I remember when Tyrion that game he ran over that linebacker. I'm gonna be real. You know what I'm talking about? You
yes,
you know
yes.
the linebacker? I forgot his name, and it's,
I
watching that on the sideline, it was even wicked. It was even more wicked.
I once did an interview with Ty. Absolutely love Ty. By the way, Ty, if you watch this, absolutely love you, man. Love to your mom, Stacy. You guys are the best. But Ty
Yes, yes.
absolutely just levels this person, just absolutely deletes them. Yeah, that
You
game, man.
obliterated him.
Like that running that everyone thinks of Burrow and Justin Jefferson in that game, but I feel like the display of rushing brutality from you three, it was so incredible. It always stuck in my head of like this LSU team is absolutely complete. Um,
No, literally,
but now, John,
literally.
we gotta go down the portal, another portal. It's
What
early
up?
2020, okay, and I'm doing a lot of podcasts, and LSU was at the center of the sports world, and everyone's wanting to talk to me, saying, "Hey, what about your Tigers? How good are they going to be this next year? Are they going to repeat? All this stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And then the world stops.
Was completely stopped.
Pandemic happens, and your family had some major adversity through that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't you lose? Did you lose a grandmother during that time?
I lost a grandmother. I lost an uncle. I lost a lot of family members during that time. Yes, I did lose my grandmother though.
and
Yes.
Webby got very sick.
Yep, yep. My stepfather. Yes, yes, he did. He did. My mother's husband. For those who don't know, yes, he did get sick, and he's a soldier, bro. He's a
Man,
soldier.
I was gonna
Um,
ask, how's he doing now? Has he fully recovered?
he still has his brain. He's still
Yes.
he's still Webby, right? He still can't quite walk, right?
Crap.
But yeah, he can't walk yet. He's still paralyzed, and his left side is not completely functioning yet. But like I said, he's still Webby, and you know you can still have a full blown conversation with him,
Of
like it
course.
never happened, right? Yeah.
But man, I'm sorry to hear about that about Webby.
No, I
You
appreciate you, brother.
like your entire family went through a ton of stuff during this time, and
Mm-hmm.
you're only just entering your sophomore season
Yeah.
at LSU. I mean, you're wondering, probably, spring is canceled. All this stuff is going on politically. All this crazy
No,
stuff
for
is going on.
real.
I mean, what really are you thinking during those times, and how did you really keep the faith and persevere?
Yeah. Well, honestly, during that time, like that was one of the hardest moments in my college career. Um, and what kept my faith, I would say, is my family. My family. We was quarantining. Everybody was back at home. Um, and then I even got COVID, and man, I had to crawl to
Yes,
the refrigerator, out the bed just to give me a glass of drink, right?
I,
Um,
I remember. I think, didn't you also catch it multiple times because you were also out of a game for COVID, weren't you, during that 2020 season?
yeah, yeah, it was. I
It was
did,
nuts.
I did miss one. Yeah, that was. Oh, bro, how you bringing memories back? Yeah, yeah, it was suck, man. You know what else about that season, man? Like. we couldn't practice,
Yes.
and some team not some. I heard some teams was right
Yes.
when
Yes.
we
Yes.
weren't. You right, and like, and on top of that, think about it, and that's why I salute to that team. You can think about it. We lost a lot of guys from the draft recently. And when you go through a time like that and you lose a lot of people, you got to make sure you got to rebuild the next guys coming up, right?
And there was
And
nothing you guys could do with the opt outs too. Sorry to interrupt.
exactly. Now you good, you good. Yeah, it's like you couldn't do nothing about that. And we lost Jamar Chase. We was just getting
Yes.
lick at the lick, and I'm sure we wasn't the only team. But it was tough, man. It was tough on everybody that year. And like when you go through something like that, not just with the football aspect, but in life, it take time to recover, right?
Of course.
Mentally, it take time to recover from that. And with that LSU spirit and that Tiger spirit, man, like I feel like that's one thing that'll keep us going. The fans and like just know what the fans and y'all expect out of LSU, right? That kept people going a lot, a
Oh
lot,
yeah.
a lot. And at least me, we we had the man. It was weird times. We had the during quarantine. We was each position had the group chats, right? And we had to send our workouts to the strengthening staff just to make sure we would do our workout. Yeah, it was weird times. It was weird times, man. We was on Zoom a lot. Zoom was the thing, man. So
It
yeah,
was
man,
such a bizarre thing, and it's
it
just like
was.
it's almost like did Zoom create the damn pandemic? What the hell is this? But so what do you think happened overall during that COVID off season? That like there was this the BLM march as well on campus, and that became a very
Hmm.
controversial thing. And Coach O's reaction that was kind of a I don't approve, but I'm not like against this. I just don't like the political nature of this being on campus.
Yeah,
What did you think of that whole thing? And what do you think some fans maybe don't understand about that situation, or maybe don't know about that whole thing about that march?
yeah. Well, the thing about that with Coach O during that time, and some other people too, Coach O wanted to win games, man. He
Yes.
wanted to make sure we were prepared, right, at all times. And I don't. Some people were mad. I remember some people were mad and felt some way about it, right? And like I understood. I'm very open minded, right? And I always look at my neighbor walking past with his dog. I always look at um both sides of everything, right? He, well, I just think like it's tough. It's kind of tough because like at some point you got to stand up for what's right, right? And everybody needs to be a vocal point on what's going on in this world, because you can't just like sometimes as a football player you as a football player you tend to feel like a robot, and like you have to do this, and you can't sometimes stand up for what's right, and it's kind of and
Weird. It's like it's shut up and dribble. You can't be a human. Stop.
right, exactly, and that's kind of that was the situation. But at the same time though, like with the coach and other people that felt some type of way with the marches, I can't speak for everybody else, but I know and what I felt, like he just wanted to practice. He wanted to get what we had to do done. Like we didn't have, like we skipped practice that day, and like if anything, we could have did it after or on an off day, or like it was just why it had to be like during the time we had to practice, right? And
So that okay.
yeah, and it was just, and we went against the head coach word, right? So that can create, that can have any head coach. If I was the head coach and I tell my team not to do something, and they do it anyway, like like do it right after I said like not to do it, like I would feel some type of way as well, right?
Okay,
But
so
at
I
the
didn't
same
know that.
time, like yeah, right, like yeah, that's how it really went down, and like at the same time, you gotta at some point you gotta put your foot down and let people know that we all in this together and we feel this way as well. So that was the trend. That was
So,
the trend.
so Coach O was saying like, "Hey, I see you guys are probably going to march like all these other teams. There are all these other people in the community are all across the country in every single state. Like, I don't want you guys to do it." He said that, and then and
Uh,
then a decision was made. Let's still do it.
yeah, the decision was made. It was ran by the leaders, and they just didn't agree with Coach O. They wanted to let it be known. And that's for me during that time. I was more like I was kind of like, man, we can do it in another way. We can
Yeah.
we can stand up for what's right in another way. We could practice. We need it. As
Yes.
you see, as that season went,
Like
as
10
you,
practices total. Yeah. Like
yeah,
crazy.
right, exactly, right. So like, it was just a sticky situation, man, and thank God we was able to get past it, right? Because nobody's perfect. Everybody's gonna bump heads. Everybody's gonna have disagreements, and you get to a point where you just gotta agree to disagree and move on from it, right? But yeah, that's what happened.
That
Yeah,
that season, man. Do you think that season was doomed from the start, John? That 2020 season?
it got to a point where like it didn't feel like a season with every it didn't know like and you could feel it even in the energy and some people just like after having COVID, a lot of people everybody on the team damn they had COVID. And then like it was a time where like they like NCAA they forced us to get shots. Like it was a mental it was mental work on everybody's, right? On everybody mental, and like you had to do a lot of things that you didn't want to do before the season, and it was hard to prepare, right?
Wait, wait.
So yeah.
Sorry, John. John, you said
Mm-hmm.
the NCAA forced
Yep.
every athlete to take the COVID vaccine.
This yes, and I wouldn't say the
Wow.
whole. Maybe not, but I would say this. This what the deal was. You could, and that's what they said. It came from the board. It said you wasn't gonna be able to play unless you take that shot, and I was pissed about that. I ain't gonna lie.
Wow. And you know what? I've heard similar. I've heard similar because here's the thing. Every single player, college football player was vaccinated. There was no like religious exemption.
Yep.
There was nothing like health exemptions even.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
And we
And like
know
it.
we John, we know at this point that the COVID vaccine is not what it was sold to be. No, nowhere even close.
No, not
And
at all.
you guys were some of the first to get the shots.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
what do you feel about? How do you feel about that whole thing and how it went down? And like, what does you think the public needs to know about what you guys went through? Because that seems really
Um,
not right.
yeah, man, and that go back to what I said, like you being a robot at times, like you being forced to do certain things that sometimes you just don't want to do. I didn't trust it, you know. Like they said this was it, this will help you and what was in it, but like you wasn't in the lab with them making it. You wouldn't, we didn't know it, and it happened so quick too with the vaccine. A
Exactly.
lot of right, they made it so quick,
They don't
and
have time to test it correctly.
come on, man. And I know time was an issue because people was getting COVID left and right. It was just like bodies was falling, like
It
left and
was,
right.
if you get this injection, you'll never get COVID again. And then, oh, we'll change, we'll move the goalposts again. You'll get COVID, but you won't get it as bad. And then,
Exactly.
people still were dying with the
Exactly.
vaccine and getting heart issues and things like that. Like, do you feel
Hmm.
like, just, I don't know, this is really blowing my mind, John, because this is a situation I think that people have forgotten about, that the NCAA basically forced the entire Division 1 in every
Yeah.
conference to take the
Yeah.
vaccine, whether religious exemption or not. It was get
Yeah.
injected with this or don't play.
Exactly. And that was it was so crazy because you want to play. You train so hard, you play, and you get to college, and like you want to play the sport, bro. Like you don't. So it gets to a point like, bro, you gotta do whatever it takes. Sometimes at a point, at certain points, you gotta do what it takes just to get on the field, and that was one of those situations where we had to take it, and I put up a little fight where I told him I don't want to take it, right? I don't want to take it, and I kind of get mad, right, when I talk to people outside of like the outside of football that didn't play football and they wasn't forced, and when they tell me they wasn't forced to take the vaccine, it get me a little upset, because I'm gonna be real, I still think about that vaccine. I'm like, damn, bro. I mean, nothing happened to me now, but I hope it's not gonna affect me in the long run, right?
Well,
Um,
yes, and I remember
just
Coach
cause,
O
yeah.
publicly saying, "I'm going to make my team the first fully vaccinated team." Like, that was his publicly stated goal.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know he said that.
Oh, he said that on Off the Bench multiple times, with T Bob and Jordy, who were the hosts at that time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a wicked time, bro. It was a wicked time. We had to do what we had to do. Like I said, with dealing with that and all that before the season, it was tough. But we tried our best that year, and a lot of other teams did. Well, we had what 10 games that season or something like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah, 10 games.
and like we did what we can, That's all we could do.
And do you think, with all of what went on, do you think your game took a step back that year, or do you think it was just kind of like on pause, like a lot of things?
I would say with that year, I didn't like that year much because
Yeah.
I was dealing with a shoulder injury after Texas A&M, and
Yes.
I heard of that practice. It was getting ready for the week before Texas A&M, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was dealing with a torn labrum, and it just kept getting worse, and and that was early. That was like the fourth game, so I had to play through that. And for all the football players out there, y'all know how it is playing with a torn labrum. You got to wear a brace. Some games I didn't even wear a brace, right? And it sucked, man. That held me back big time. I would say that right there held me back. Uh, not being able to, eh, not being able to play how I wanted to play. Like I would be hesitant on trying running to one side because I couldn't use that offhand, right?
Yes.
And I had to when even me having and I don't think a lot of people knew, even like how I had to when was going into contact and I was about to run into contact, I had to use my other shoulder, even though the shoulder that my shoulder was messed up on was closer to the defender. It was weird,
Yeah.
and I wanted to continue to play. So
But you
if
got to
I
protect
wanted to
that arm and that shoulder. Yeah.
exactly right, so that right there was my main problem that year, and man, it was tough, bro. It was
Man,
tough.
you and then John, there's 2021. Your entire junior season was taken
Hmm.
away due to
Yep.
NCAA academic violations, but
Yeah.
you fought those violations against you. We've heard a lot.
Did.
We've heard a ton over the years, but and I talked to Senior a bit about this, but I don't think LSU fans have ever heard in detail from you what went on
Yeah,
and your perspective on what
yeah.
happened to you. They've heard everybody else's opinion. We've never heard it
Mm-hmm.
from you, John. What
For
happened?
me, yeah,
How did that
yeah.
happen?
And the team, yeah, the coaches, they wouldn't put me on the stand. Let me really talk about it. I would say this. This is it, I take 100% of the blame, right? Um, it wasn't a problem to where I couldn't do it, and I just didn't know what I was doing in the classroom. Man, you put your mind to anything, you can do anything. That's what I believe, right? Um, during that COVID, that's what it was, the COVID year, right? That's what hurt me. During that time, we was quarantining. I wasn't doing work. I was dealing with grief. I was quarantining inside all day. I was in my head. I was mad. I wasn't doing any schoolwork, right? It's just I wasn't picking it up and doing it because I was just so like shocked. It's like you think about being at your highest during the 2019 um year, and then all of a sudden everything slows down and just it go from top to bottom, not top, middle, about it. It didn't gradually just go like it was top to bottom for me. That's how I felt at least, and like and that's why I went, and that's why I fought. That's why I fought on it because I really was dealing with grief, and that's why when I actually really got on it, and I was able to get that work done. I did it once I was out of quarantine and like really in study hall and doing my work. I was able to turn it around quick. But yeah, that year, bro, during COVID really messed me up big time because I dug myself a big hole by grieving, and I think the NCAA should have gave me another shot. Not the whole season, man. After dealing with COVID, and like it was all messed up, and it just wasn't. Me personally, I don't think it was fair, and
No, no.
um, it wasn't fair. I don't think. But like I said, I did it to myself, and I'm grateful for it. Actually, I'm thankful for that because it allow you to everything you go through is for you, right? For the future, and
Well,
it made me stronger, honestly.
well, here's the thing, John. I think you might be onto something because I remember during that time, so many, you know, losers on different forums or whatever saying stuff about you, and then you
Yep,
go on to graduate from LSU, something that
exactly.
a lot of those losers could only really even dream of. And so it's like you went from people, oh, academic violations and all this to graduating from LSU. How did that feel when you
Yeah.
were able to make that happen in response to all of the bullshit that had been said about you?
Um. Well, I'll tell you this, man. I dealt with a lot of, and I see sometimes what they say on the internet, and like, bro, I've been dealing with that since I flipped my commitment from Georgia to LSU. Right? Like, I didn't got crazy comments. I remember one guy when I flipped my commitment from Georgia to LSU during high school. Oh man, I hope you tear your ACL. Or people say crazy things like that, right? Georgia fan, but the
Oh
yeah, bro. People take it that you know how the internet can be. You
yeah,
see it. Man, it could be nasty. But one thing, when people will make a comment, and I never was like this. I don't make comments on something I don't know all the facts to. Right? I just can't. I can't do that. Like it feels weird and to
yes,
me, right? It just feels weird when I don't know 100%. I can give an opinion from the outside, but when you talk like you know everything and you
me
know
too.
what goes on,
It feels
I don't. Yeah, yeah, right. Like it
like
just,
yourself. It's weird.
yeah, man. Like I don't get that, but I didn't. I never did let that get to me. If anything, like it got to me in a way like, okay, I'm gonna just show 'em, watch. It's not the fact that like I don't know how to do the school, or it's to a point where I
It,
just didn't do it because I was dealing with issues, man. Like.
I'm the same way. Like, there was like
Yeah.
a semester where I flunked completely because I was just ditching classes, and someone finally got a hold of me and were like, "Listen, you're gonna literally like flunk yourself. Like, you're like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I thought I'd just get straight A's even if I skip class. What am I doing?" Once you actually
No,
apply,
for real.
then everything falls in place. But John,
No, for sure.
that was crazy. How do you think losing that entire season of football, also,
That hurt.
that's your year three? How do you think it affected your football career trajectory? Do you think
Yeah.
that was a big obstacle, or
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, it was, man. Like that hurt. That hurt big time because this how I found out. Let me tell you how it went down. Um, so we was fighting it, right? We
yes,
fought it all the way to the day before the UCLA game.
yes, yes,
The
yes,
first game of the day before. I'm talking about to the night before that night, right? And like I'm thinking like I was kind of confident like they was gonna waive it and I was gonna be able to play and the appeal was gonna go through, knowing that everything that just happened with all the family members that just passed, like with COVID, and like I thought, because I was still dealing with that like after COVID, right after, like after quarantine. Um, they told me Coach O and Kevin Phelps set me down in the hotel because I wound up traveling. And it was that night, and they told me, man, I broke down to my knees, tears. And I'm not the type to cry a lot, right? I cry at funerals, but I didn't cry as much and really sob and and flood the room. But that, yes, I did. That hurt. That hurt my heart. Um, not literally, but
because the
nah, it
whole
was chest
season,
pains.
it was like you said, like, okay, even if you were like so many other cases where the other guys were suspended 3 or 4 games and you get the whole season, it was bullshit. It was just so harsh, man.
No, for real, man, and having to deal with that, seeing my guys play and even during that season, like just to make sure I was keeping my body in shape, man, I had to practice with the scout team the whole like most of the season, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes I would just go off and just train, right? Uh Not being able to play, man, for a whole season, that hurt. And any player that go through that, bro, it hurts, right? Because you live in regret, a pool of regret, right?
yeah,
And you got to deal with it, and that's just how it is in life, bro. Right? And I would say it just was it created pressure. It created, but I always looked at it like as man, it still gave me motivation on the back end. Like, okay, I got to overcome this. I
absolutely.
just can't because life ain't gonna stop. The time is gonna keep continue ticking. That's what I've learned through all the adversity that I've, dealt with. Yeah, life ain't gonna stop life, and
Well,
I overcame it, and I was able to pursue, and keep going. So like, yes, it was horrible, but I also learned a lot from it.
it's pretty incredible because your 2022 season, um, is very underrated. Right after you miss an entire season of football, you then score eight
Yep,
total touchdowns, 504 total yards, a rushing score versus Auburn that was just outrageous in a 4-point win.
amazing play.
The
That's amazing.
opening scores as a receiver versus Alabama and Florida, three
Yeah.
rushing touchdowns versus A&M. What was it like?
And line, before you keep going,
Oh, no, no.
I matter of fact, you can finish your question. Go ahead,
No, no,
finish
no.
your question.
I want you to talk, my good man.
Nah, but for all the haters out there that said I stepped out that Alabama game, you must have one eye
Yes,
because
yes.
because like I was literally an inch from touching that white line, literally. Bruh, that season it felt great for me. I needed that season though. I needed it. And I wanted more. I wasn't even satisfied. That's why I stayed. That's why I stayed another year.
You
Um,
you got limited touches, but you made every
yes,
one of them count.
I did. You're
One of
right.
them count, and they were
Yeah.
tone-setting, critical, clutch moments in games, in pivotal
Yes.
games. There it is, the big-time top 10 win over Alabama, one of the greatest games ever seen in
Hmm.
Tiger Stadium history. And John Emery
Yes,
is right
indeed.
there, juking a dude out of his freaking socks. And okay, there's the play in question. Did
Yep.
John
Yep.
Emery Jr. step out of bounds here?
I
John,
did
you said
not,
you were an
man.
inch away from the line. The camera proved it. Everything's proven
Yep.
that you were not out of bounds.
Exactly.
Case is
Yep.
closed.
That's it. And that's all it ever will be. Touchdown, folks. Um, Man, that game, bro. Hey, you talk about, man, that game is up there with the 2019 season. Like with all the games that we had that season. It was amazing, bro. That and then on top of that, coming out from suspension from a year and having to go through that, that was a great season for me, man. And even my first game touching the rock, it was against Mississippi State, but and that was like weird. Like when you come from injury, any football player or any athlete that come from a like sitting out for a second due to anything, and that first game that comes up, it's always weird. It was weird that Mississippi State game, but the Auburn game, that's when I actually felt like I started to get it back. That game when Greg Brooks took the ball from the wideout
Oh,
and
yes.
he clutched it. He clutched it. Man, that game right there, that's when I feel like I started to get my swagger back. And like you said, it was limited, all right? But I try my best to make every opportunity count because I was feeling at the moment like, man, like, bro, like after sitting out for a whole year, like, man, you don't like the opportunity may not come.
Well,
Some may get in the way of it. So I try my best to make some shake.
John, it says 8 rushes for 42 yards, 1 touchdown against Auburn, then 1 catch for 39 yards against Auburn. So 9 touches,
Hmm.
basically 80 yards. Like, so damn effective. Um, Absolutely effective. But there was a new coach in town. Obviously, Coach O was fired,
Yes, it
and Brian
was.
Kelly comes in and becomes the new head coach of that season in 2022. What did you think of the firing of Coach O, first of all, and then the man who recruited you, Coach O, now out of the building, but now the hiring of Brian Kelly? What was your first reaction to all of that?
That right there, when that happened, that made me realize. That made me realize that it's a business. It's a business in this game, man. And dealing with that, man, coaching changes, it was hard. I'm gonna be real, and I felt bad for the situation for Coach O, because like that's just the cards he got dealt, you know. He was amazing, man, bro. Still is, but he was great, right? He was a great coach, and you can ask anybody. Every single body loved Coach O. He was a player's coach.
There's not a single player I've ever spoken to, part of 2019, 2020, or 2021, who's ever said anything bad about Coach O. Not
No,
one.
literally, bro. No, for real, man. Like I miss him. And Coach O, if you see this, man, hey, I love you, and I hope you living it up. And Coach O, shout out Coach O, he back. He
Yeah,
back.
man.
He's back over there recruiting. That recruiting, that's a good spot he in. He know how to recruit. If you know, you know. That boy know how to recruit. But yeah, man, that change with Brian Kelly, it was different. I would say because you go from Coach O to Coach Kelly, you can just see like you go from like the South to it's like you going from living down deep down south in the bayou. to living deep up north. You know, like it was different, but you had to adjust though. And like it was a huge adjustment, you know. Coach Kelly came in there and he made it his house. I'll tell you that. Like as far as he took certain things off the walls, he renovated it in his way. Um, but but he had his standard as well, man. And you know, I would say yes, it was tough, but it was a challenge. But it was fun having to adjust. Like and it you can you wouldn't be prepared for that as a player on that team. Like nobody was prepared for that. I would say honestly.
Well,
Um,
for that switch, that Coach O, Bohm, and Brian Kelly,
yes,
because that's a big
yes,
difference. Boom, boom, boom. I
it
mean,
is. It is, man.
Kelly
It
to
is,
Kiffin
man.
is too.
Mm,
There-
yes,
There's a lot of
yes.
stuff said about Brian Kelly. And did you like playing for Brian Kelly? Was he an enjoyable coach to play for?
uh, man. It was hmm, it was cool, man. It was all right. You know, he do things. Every person is different, right? He do things differently, and that's what made me learn. This is what I learned about that situation as far as the coaching change. It opened my eyes on not just judging someone straight from the book, right, and not expecting so much out of a person, right? Because you go from Coach O being a players coach and Coach Kelly being uh, the opposite.
Completely like that's the thing I really want to
Yeah.
ask you is John. I mean, so many of the players I've talked to, a part of the teams with Kelly, just said that there was zero relationship. He never met their
Yes.
family, never had a desire to even meet their parents, nothing
Mhm.
like that. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like how do you feel he treated you guys and your teammates? John, yo, John's back. Yo, John. Can't hear you right now. Oh, I think we got a little bit back of you.
All right.
Hey, what's up, John? You
Can you hear
got
me?
me? I got you. I got you. Can you hear me?
Bad. Yeah, somebody called my phone. Hold up, one second.
It's all good, John. It's all good. Brian Kelly. It was almost like Brian Kelly's like the Wizard of Oz. Like no one can get near this guy. No one can see him, and he'll come behind come from the shadows behind the drapes every once in a while. Yo, John, can you hear me?
Computer. Hello?
What's up, John?
God damn it.
How you doing, man? Got
No.
me?
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, you
Perfect.
know. You could. Yep. 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 Yeah,
How
man.
do you
Sorry about that.
You're good, man. How do you feel Kelly like treated you and your teammates during that era? Do you feel like that guy? You feel like he actually wanted to coach you?
I feel like he wanted to win. All right, obviously, who doesn't want to win? I feel like he he was the type to. This how I felt, and this is just me speaking the real. He was the type where he used people like pawns to get what he wanted to get, in the and get what he wanted, and that's just how it felt, man. It didn't feel real. Yes, it did feel at times that um like he didn't really care to get to know you, but he cared that you were doing what you had to do on this team, and just following his style of play, his following his rules, just so he can win, right? And he didn't care to get the that's he didn't really care to get to know you too much. He wanted to know you enough to where like he could so he can see, if anything, he'll get other people to get to know you. Then like that's how it felt. He would try to get other people to get to know you, and they will report it back to him. And yeah, man, no, I didn't really. I'm gonna be real, like, and I don't respect it at all. I don't respect him. I don't. You know why? Because when I got injuries and I dealt, I never got a phone call from him. My
So
second ACL, I received at practice after the USC game. I never talked to him except for once because I was in the training room and he wound up walking in, and it still wasn't about nothing because it was just kind of giving a side face.
wow.
Anyway, I didn't care to, but at the same time, it's no hard feelings though. It's never no hard feelings, and I never cared. You know why? Because it's a business, and I knew that at that point, right? Like, man, it's just a business. Like they need us to keep their job, right? And he walked like that. He showed it. Some coaches know how to at least fake it and try to get to know something, get to know you, and just have a heart. And yeah, nah, he did it really both. Like I never even talked to him my first ACL for real.
Wow.
And it was like once that's how it felt, and that's just how I felt for real. It just seemed like once they don't, and this is what I learned about the business. Once they can't use you, then they'll lose you, and they get rid. I tried to make it around, but they'll get rid of you, and that's just once they don't need you, they. There's no need for them to try to make ends meet. And some people don't. Some people not like that. Some people are not like that. They got good. They got coaches out here with great hearts. They got great coaches out here. But he was just one of those guys where it just was strictly business for him, right? And that's all it was. And you know, I accept everybody for who they are. Like there's like some people nowadays, and it's been like this. Some people just go to work, and that's all it is to them. It's nothing special. They don't care to get to know you. They come to do their job and then go back home to the people they actually truly care for, right? But if you want to win, bro, and you want to win the championship, it's not gonna take that.
Nope.
It's not. You need relationship. You need trust. You know, like and money ain't gonna win it. It
That
could get you far, but
that contract too.
yeah, bro. Yeah, so but that's how it was, and I'm not trying to bash him. I don't want to sit here and bash him. It's just I'm just giving y'all what it is and what it was, and I would say like I can respect discipline, and I loved how as far as with running the team uh and the way he wanted people to the way he wanted to build players, and how he ran a strict program as far as like checking in 24/7 on everything, on when you eat, on just little things, right? Yeah, he ran it like that, and that's just how it was.
He, do you think that he really had to go that overboard with the SWAT team to like repair the culture at LSU? Because that was kind of the national and local narrative, was that we need Kelly's kind of old school discipline to repair this out of control culture.
Yeah, yeah, you do need that. You do need that, right? And that's why I say like I respect that, but it take more than that. It take like you look at all these teams that won championships, they all say, man, brother, everybody was great from the coaches to the players. The relationships was great.
Yes.
It take having great relationships. That's what I think, for real, for real. And
Well,
when you don't have a great relationship, it's just it can be tough, bro. It could. I'm not
man,
saying it can't be possible. I'm not saying it can't be possible to where like you can't win at all, but it'll be 10 times harder, and especially like yeah, I could see if you don't have like relationships, but you still show some type of humility and like treat people how you would want to be treated, right? But hey, that's just how people are. Some people, that's just how they came up, and that's how they run things,
it's
Yeah.
very few the amount of teams that won things while hating each other. But John, I've got to show you this. I've got to show you this. This is somebody. This is a clip of somebody um, really celebrated, talking glowingly about you.
Special player. Obviously, he was highly recruited out of high school for a reason. You know, he's a very special player as far as when the ball in his
Why
hand,
am I
he can make
muted?
something happen out of nothing.
Can you read?
But
Start
you
it.
know, we need John, and
There we go. Let's do it. You can restart it, man.
special player. Obviously, he was highly recruited out of high school for a reason. You know, he's a very special player as far as when the ball in his hand, he can make something happen out of nothing. Um, but you know, we need John, and hopefully, you know, if John comes back, you know, he's in the right headspace with everything, and you know, go out there and he's focused on football, and he go out there and have fun, which I know John will. I know the type of person John is. I can't wait to see John get back there and get back out there on the field and really just enjoy his last year and making plays with the phenomenal person he is.
What does that make you feel like during that era with Jaden Daniels and being alongside him, alongside Joe Burrow? You played alongside two Heisman winning quarterbacks. Like, do you feel like just so lucky to be a part of all of this stuff, and to have that type of glowing review from a quarterback like Jaden?
No, for sure, man. I love Jaden, brother. Jaden is a like if you dislike Jaden, like it's you. Something is wrong with you. Nah, it was amazing, bro. And I'm blessed to say I played with them. All the quarterbacks I played with: Garrett, Jaden, Joe, Miles Brennan. Um, like all them boys, man. So many quarterbacks, bro. I'm blessed to have played with Jaden, though, bro. He awesome, bro. He not just an awesome football player. If you having a bad day, he'll turn it around for you. He's one of those type of guys, right? Uh, but man, it's always awesome having a quarterback that can move how you move as far as when carrying the ball. And you feel like it's like your twin, and it's like you confident on. Okay, it's better. The game, you could get the game will move at your speed. It can kind of, as it is, it can kind of it could be unfortunate sometimes because he could carry that rock. You don't got to leave the weight just on the running back. So like it kind of take some of the fun from us. But nah, though, nah, he was awesome, bro. All the quarterbacks I played with, and like man, that's memories that I am blessed. God gave me, man, that I could run with, man. And, and, bro, like and all the fans out there. it should never be no hate from the past because like that was nothing but greatness, nothing short of it, you
Oh,
know, that we witnessed.
you played in, I think, the two most unstoppable offenses I've ever seen, and probably the most two statistically outrageous offenses we've ever seen. How would you like? Not which offense do you think was more unstoppable, 2019 or 2023?
2019.
Just too many options. Joe Burrow's brain, even that that goes more than Jaden Daniels. That dual threat, just
Yes.
unstoppability.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. Um because like we had weapons everywhere, right? And yeah, that team with Jaden, we had weapons as well. What made it more unstoppable, right? Ooh, 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 ooh. I say 2019 just because of the defense.
Yes.
That's why, because both of the offenses, like it was good. You can't. It's even hard to
Well,
compare it for real, for real.
that's what I was meaning was which offense is better because
Yeah,
we obviously know that that 2023 defense was historically one of the worst pieces of. I mean, my God, they lost you guys games by themselves. You guys were basically
yeah,
playing
man.
against two defenses every time you went out on the field. That's something I
Yeah,
wrote in many different articles. Was you're playing against two defenses, the opponents and your own. Um,
yeah, man. Yeah, honestly, and that's just how it added more pressure to the offense, right?
yeah,
To the point where like to the point where you got to be perfect.
you guys had to
And
be 60 points a game.
exactly, right? It's like no room for error. It was no room for error, and like when you got and like some people could say, "Oh man, I don't mind the pressure. I love the pressure." Man, this is a team game. You need to win as a team, and like when you plan, like is no room for effort. I mean, no room for error. Like it can be tough when you plan like that. Literally every game, almost. It can be tough, man. It can be tough. It can be tough on the brain. It can be tough, mental and physical, honestly. But see, like that's my only reason I would say the 2019 offense was good because um and we was I say this like we literally went that 2019 season. We went into every game. I kid you not. We went into and you could ask anybody on that team. We went into every game knowing that we was gonna win. We wasn't worried at all. And that's why I say going back to pressure, like the that year with Jaden and Heisman, yeah, like it was kind of tough. It was like, I hope the defense could literally pull through just a little bit. And they did. They tried their best. We had ballers that just didn't work out how we wanted it to be. Wanted it to work out, but yeah, man, like that. Yeah, we went into every game knowing we was gonna win, and it just wasn't the same in 2023. So
Also,
it's,
that season, man, really marred the season was what happened to Greg Brooks Jr. Um, with
yeah,
the brain tumor and the cancer diagnosis.
yes.
How did his diagnosis and his absence change that season? You think?
Man, he was one of the leaders. First of all, Greg, I talked to Greg Hanna. I love you. I love you so much, brother. I'm here for you. He know that, and I hope you know that. But man, that hurt us big time. That hurt us big time. Literally everybody, the staff, and it was unexpected. Um, and like I said, he was one of the leaders, and he was one of the key, factors of that defense that we needed, right? And
Absolutely.
when you take a loss like that, um, that can hurt. Like that can hurt on the mental as well, but that can hurt, with certain type of packages that that you had set with Greg, and now you gotta make adjustments, and it's kind of tough, like, cause he was a baller, man,
Yeah,
you know,
and that season
but now though,
where he put it all together.
exactly, you seen how it was just evolving, right? The type of player he was. Um,
He was balling against Florida State with a brain tumor. One of the only guys on defense who was doing it. He was awesome.
right, right. It was in him, and he just had it in him. He was one of those. In fact, he was one of those it factors, right? A difference maker, and he was one of those size does not matter. He showed a prime example of that. Played his heart out, and I love that dude, bro. He was the greatest human being that you can meet, right? He was the greatest. He had your back. He was one of those guys like, oh yeah, I know Greg got my back. You could call on Greg for anything. He was one of those guys. He would come pick you up in the middle of the night, out his sleep. And he had the greatest personality, man. Nothing but love. That's all it was. Nothing but positivity. So for that to happen, it was tough. And yeah, man, we it hit home. It hit home big time with that, happening. But man, yeah, me and Greg grew up in the same city.
Yeah.
Like my family know his family. We family, right? We are family. And it's just, it even hit home for me as well, So yeah, that's all I got to say on that, for real, for real.
That's okay, man. I mean, we've heard a lot of things about how Brian Kelly handled that situation. Did what happened to Brooks change how you saw Brian Kelly and the LSU program? Do you think Kelly
Um,
visited him enough? There's a lot of things said about him not visiting Greg and things like that.
um, Honestly, like, I wasn't surprised that happened, right? I wasn't surprised that like, I'm not gonna sit here and bash him because, like, he played a factor and he helped, but um at the end of the day, um when you can't be, you got a job to do. For some people, when you got a job to do, um some people get selfish, and it's, they gotta do what they gotta do, right? And they gotta, gotta move on, and they don't. If you're not valuable to me, I gotta move on. I have to figure out what's next, right? And like, that's just not the way to live life, honestly. But I wasn't, when that news came out, because I didn't know that was happening for real. And then once it came out, family started talking to their family, and I even talked to great grandmother. It's tough, man.
I
And
was
like,
broke that
it's tough.
story when I got the text from someone I won't mention who said, "We want you to be the one to break this story." I don't know what, I can't remember what was the reason why. And I knew this person, but I can't remember exactly the reason why they wanted me to break it. We posted that like 4 a.m, and it really sent shockwaves through all of college football because it was a dude right at the peak of his powers. Um, and
Hmm.
and
I
another
remember. I remember when it came out.
2023 was very difficult, John, because also in 2023 you were limited through injury, but you also were starting to build into that season with that great game against Auburn, and just as you were starting to electrify Tiger Stadium versus Florida, you literally did this thing with
Hmm.
the worst happened. Um,
Yeah.
when John, I hate to ask you this, but when did you first realize, shit, man, I've torn my ACL?
Right when I couldn't get up and walk. Uh,
Right. Oh man.
right
Right.
there. It was really because I felt the buckle, right?
Yes.
It was something that I never felt. I never had a knee injury ever. And you know what's crazy when you look at that? If I'm not mistaken, I actually fumbled. I let the ball go. I was so in shock. Man, yeah, it's like I felt that, but I didn't think. Like I said, I never knew how ACL felt. I never had to talk about too much about it. I knew about ACLs, but like I felt that buckle, and I just like, man, like this. I knew it was bad, bro. But when I couldn't really walk, that's when, oh yeah, this is a torn ACL. Right when I couldn't really get up right then and there, and like I was scared to like move it and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a horrible feeling, bro. It was. And then
When I
right after that play,
when I saw
you
you turn to
know,
the right, I was like, oh no! Like it just looked like you're off. There's just something off here. It was like, oh man.
yeah, man, yeah, man.
I mean, after all the NCAA bullshit and the waiting your turn and fighting through some of these injuries, and then right as you're juking Florida Gators into statues, you suffer this season-ending injury. Did you honestly feel like, what do I have to do here, God? Like, are you what are you trying to show me here? Why do you keep putting these barriers? Did you get frustrated at that point? Because that's a lot of adversity.
Uh, I never asked God why. I never. I'm big on like everything happens for a reason. I got to a point where I was kind of fed up though. Like, man, bro, like I just like I was more in that feeling of like, bro, I just wanted to work out badly, and I wanted to work out badly. But I would say like I was after that second ACL, that's when I got mentally drained. I was like, oh my God, like why? That's when I would say like it was kind of like a like should I play this? Should I continue to play this sport, right? But but during that first one, the one that you just shown, that was I was most in shock, man, and I couldn't believe it, especially after like I had limited touches that season as well, and right when I finally got an opportunity because they had Logan Diggs was hurt, um, and I got a shot, and when you know I made that move against the guy, and I was just so upset. If anything, I was mad though when I went and looked back at it because it was bad technique on my part. When I made that cut, I was too far out my frame, and that's kind of how it happened on the second ACL as well, man. It's just all technique, and that I can say and point fingers. It can, but I'm not gonna point fingers. But like when you not playing and you're a little rusty, and like you can kind of get you can get laxed on technique, man. And I was a little lax, and like I should have prepared and stayed more ready and been ready. And I don't think I was just because my technique, man. But yeah, man, that's just how that was. With that ACL, man, I stuck it. I never thought about quitting after that one. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna keep fighting. One thing, like everything I dealt with, I never had that moment or that feeling of, man, I quit, bro. I'm giving up. Like just like I always like wanted to just continue to go, like and just do it. Like I didn't have I didn't have a bone in me that made me say like it made me feel like, man, I'm letting up. I can't do it no more. I just felt like I can just continue to get through everything that got thrown at me. It was just a bump in the road that I felt like everything that was thrown at me. So I think that's what drove me for real, for real. It was just honestly, I think it was just something that God gave me. It's a motivator to where like I don't I don't never want to quit, never
No,
want to dwell. I never sob. I never like yes, people cry. I've dropped tears, but I never gave in and said, you know what, I can't do this. Nobody ever had to worry about me like just man, John, look, let me take you in, man. Let me make sure you straight, bro. Let me push you. Nah, it was I showed up every day and I healed and I just continued
bro.
like,
That's why
man,
LSU fans love you. Is like people are always like this guy, this dude never tapped out. He never gave in, and that's why we absolutely love you. How grueling was that
I
rehab?
love y'all, man.
That first
Wait,
one?
can you repeat that?
How grueling was that rehab process from that ACL? That first one?
I tell you, bro, I don't wish no ACL tears on nobody. Tell you that much.
Yeah,
Um, bro, it was tough, bro. It was mentally tough. Physically, if anything, after you get that surgery, it's tough. It hurts, man. It hurts, and you can't walk, obviously, right? But through the rehab process, see, I love to see progress on anything. I love to see kids progress. So I'm training kids right now. I love to see progress on the mental people becoming smart. I just love progress, right? And like that was the fun part about it, that you got to see the progress. It was a moment in that rehab process though where it was like, bro, like, can we get on with this? Like
yeah,
let's right. But God, like with some athletes, and I've learned this, right? Some people heal, some athletes got, and I forgot what they call it, but some athletes can heal fast. And like I was one of those kids that can heal fast, right? And so it happened quick. I came back, and with that first one, I came back in 8 months.
yeah.
I came back in 8 months, like maybe 7 to 8 months. You need a full year to come back for some people, right? And it was
That's
a bad tear. It was a bad tear, right?
that's what I was gonna ask you, John. Is it's like you went right into that USC game, and it seemed like I guess they were careful with you that off season leading up to USC, kind of building you up, rep by rep. But I'm not sure. Did the knee feel okay going into that game, going into that USC game, and during it and after?
Well, like the thing about that, like I wasn't supposed to play that game. The plan was for me was to come back like fourth game of the season.
Really?
But yeah, right. But we couldn't really run the ball, so it was kind of like, man, let's try anything. Just throw me in there, and I was ready. On the sideline, I was ready. So, and I looked good during fall, but they just wanted to play it safe. That's why they said, you know what, let's start on a fourth game of the season. But like, they said, you know what, you were throwing that because going through fall camp, I was good. Of course, you deal with some aches and pains when you healing, but once you build that strength back in your knee and you able to run and cut, not through the process, especially since it haven't been a year, I couldn't cut how I wanted to yet, but I was able to make it to where I can make plays. That obviously what I was doing against USC, and I did deal with a little pain, nothing crazy though. There was a little pain of it wasn't scary pain, if I should say. It was more of tendonitis feeling, right?
Yes.
But with that ACL injury, it can be mental because you tend to like, and you need time. That's why they say a year, because like you tend to get scared to make certain moves and cuts on it, so because you're scared for it to happen again.
So did you
Um,
re-tear it in that game against USC though, John, or was it in the practice the next day?
so it was no, yeah, I it was my other knee I tore. It was in the practice. The next well, it was that practice on Tuesday. We
Oh,
played on that Sunday. We played on that Sunday. We was off Monday after, and
yeah,
then we practiced on Tuesday, and that's when I tore it. Um, and going back to saying like first of all, it was my knee that I was already healing, which was my right knee. I was good. Everything was good, but it's known for you to it's a high percentage for you to tear your other knee if you tear one, right? Tear
yes,
one, it's a good percentage that you'll tear the other. But going back to saying like you kind of play scared. Sometimes you in your head. It's very mental. I think it's more mental than physical with the ACL tear. And
absolutely.
like right, and you scared to like make certain moves, make certain cuts, so you get the overthinking about the knee. So that's what happened to me. In the film. Oh, I hate looking at that. I don't even look at it probably like once or twice. Um, basically, it was bad technique because I was so focused on my right knee, and I kind of was over. I was putting more weight on my right knee, focusing on that, and just not focusing on both. I wasn't in sync with both of my legs when I had the second injury. Um, and that's kind of how that happened. I hyperextended it, my left leg, my other knee.
So it wasn't
Yeah.
like them running you into the ground or rushing you back too soon. You think, or well, you did say that
Mm,
maybe it was rushed back too soon because you said
yes.
that plan. Sorry, my bad there. You said the plan originally was for week 4, but just because they could not run against UC, they did throw you into that game. That was not planned before the game. You would even that you'd even get the ball.
It wasn't planned at
That's
all.
just crazy.
Yep.
And hey, you had like 70, almost 80 yards in a single quarter, John, against
Yeah.
USC. You were by far and away LSU's best offensive weapon outside of Kyron Lacey, rest in peace, on the day.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
did you find out that you had torn your ACL for the second time, and once again another season, just a game in, was going to be gone?
Man, it was tough, man, and I I know I tore when I hyperextended it. It was one of those moments of like, no way, and I'm like, nah, I didn't, because I didn't feel with my first ACL. I felt cracks with that first one against Florida. Felt pops in my knee. With this one, it was just a hyperextend. Basically, my knee went back. Right, I had it too far in front of me, and my leg went back. Um, and I once I couldn't really walk. I needed help. That told me right there, and that's when I said I was actually gonna quit. After that, because it was both legs. Uh, I felt helpless, right? But I did feel at a point that I was doing too much, and I should have been more vocal on just telling the trainers like, yeah, I need to just take it easy. And this is my first ATL though, right? So me going through the process, I'm in my head. I'm like, man, no what, nah, bro. It's the last season. I need to make sure I have a great season, right? I don't have time to take rest, and like I wanted reps. I wanted to play badly, right? Especially after that. Like me personally, I thought I should have chilled out because I was taking reps. Like I was good. Like I was taking reps like I didn't play in that game against USC. and it was just like I was kind of in disbelief for that. Like, why not just sit me out?
That was my
I think,
question. That was my question. Like I
yeah,
was losing it that day, John. I'm like, why didn't they just have him rest that damn practice? What the hell are they doing? Like you already pushed it on the knee, and you got lucky maybe in the USC game that it didn't. That the other one wasn't torn, or the other one that already was torn didn't get retorn.
yeah.
Like you've already pushed this. You've already stretched this rubber band to the limit. Why, like, what as a player would you feel? Would it be possible for you in that situation to say, I don't feel like I should be practicing? I feel like we're going to push that, we're going to cross that line, cross that Rubicon too far, or do you think,
Hmm.
like, how do you think that would go down with coaches in modern college football to say that?
Um, Man, I don't know. It, it was too. It was to the point where it was just. I was listening. I was listening to coaches. I was listening to trainers as well, and I'm in my head. They know what they talking about. They dealt with this plenty of times. Um, so you would think that like okay, like everything should be all right, but talking to other people and talking to people that dealt with it, everybody got different opinions on it. And they said I should have been resting and taking it more easy. And it was to the point though during that time where you don't want load on other running backs. Every day you want to balance all the running backs out so you don't get other running backs tired put too much of a load on them, right? And that I think that was the main thing. They wanted to balance everybody out, make sure they wasn't running one running back to the ground, and I think it was a mistake on their part. Maybe not a mistake. Maybe they know what they was doing. I mean, maybe they just didn't care. I didn't. I moved on from it, and I was upset. I was so upset, and I ain't even I ain't thinking about it during that time, and Owen was the head trainer there at the time, and I know he got let off that year. I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think after the Greg situation.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Owen Stanley. I think he got let off, but I'm not putting it on all the trainers. They also went by what I told them, and some trainers. Ah, it was just a hard ordeal. It was a hard ordeal,
Do you think
that's
Owens?
just what it is.
Do you think Owen Stanley? Do you think he overlooked a lot of injuries and a lot of bad situations for players in the name of keeping players on the field? Because it's you with multiple ACLs under that guy's watch. Greg Brooks Jr. with, I mean, Owen Stanley's named in the lawsuit against Brian Kelly and LSU and as well as Owen Stanley. Like they're named in that lawsuit.
Yeah. Uh, this what I'm gonna leave it at this, right? I'm gonna say this. You, I'm gonna say he made mistakes. He made mistakes. And that's all I'm gonna really say about that. I don't want to sit here and bash people on this internet.
I
Some things we didn't see eye to eye. On um, certain situations we didn't, and a lot of people. Hey, a lot of other people could say this. Not just with me, Greg. Other players that dealt with injuries, petty injuries. They would like, yeah, it's like you, but at the same time, it's like, is this on decision or is this post decision? And, and it's like Yeah, do you is it the coach decision to the point where you don't want do you not want people to be sitting out for certain injuries, or do you want people to try to fight through it because we're robots? I mean, hey, I could really take it down, but I'm not.
No, 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 no. I get what you're saying
Yeah,
because it's absolutely what I feel too.
yeah, man, it's not fair to some guys. You
Well,
know, it makes me a little angry, but hey, you know, I love my guys. All the guys that I rock with, I love them, and that's just what it is. Now with that lawsuit, is it still in process?
oh yeah, yep.
Really? Because I didn't talk to Greg's grandmother about it or whatnot. Too much. I haven't talked to her about it in a long time. Yeah, I mean, shit, I get it, and I agree with the lawsuit, 100%. Yep, it's not
And
right.
and I think at some point there will be a settlement or of some kind. I think I don't know what's going on there. It's been a while since there's been an update about that whole situation, but I felt like it was my duty to ask you as someone who's on the team, and if you basically have spoken up for Greg here, and really it's been beautiful to see you stand up for your teammate in a way here, and it's someone who's a family member basically,
Yes, indeed.
and man, John, I don't think I've ever seen a single college football player go through more adversity than you have in a single career. But you never gave in, you never gave up, you never stopped, you never quit. You were a part of the two greatest offenses in LSU history. You're part of two of the greatest teams in LSU history as far as recent memory is for sure. 2019 and 2023. You played alongside two Heisman winning quarterbacks. I mean, the list of you, the who's who you've played alongside at LSU, it's insane. But one final question: what do you think happened at LSU in this post 2019 era that's maybe contributed to LSU losing their way as a program? Like, did LSU get too soft? Did LSU get too, what happened that has prevented LSU from competing regularly for championships?
Let me say this. You have to keep, look, LSU is held at a high standard, right? With how we play, with the defense. Let's start with the defense. The defense is, we known for being nasty, right? Uh, known for talking that talk, right? 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 We known for having that swag, right? And when you in that culture that's in Louisiana, is I traveled a lot. You're not gonna find that culture nowhere else.
Nope.
Nowhere. From food, from feet to head. Right. You're not gonna find it in food. You're not gonna find it in how the way we talk. You're not gonna find it in the emotions. Nowhere. So it's held at a high standard, right? And when you try to mix that culture or bring different cultures inside that culture that's held at a high standard, um, it's hard to step up to the plate. But there's other factors that go into that, on why it's just been different. When you bring, like I said, you bring Coach Kelly in the program, it's going to be a different play.
Yep.
Coach Kelly is his type of his way and his type of style is uh not really known for that not giving the F culture. It's nice tie all the way up to um your Adam's apple and making sure your elbows is off the table. When it's not like that, like compared to Coach O, and it's just been different. LSU is known for having just mainly, they stay in state. And pick up guys from in-state and that know how it is in Louisiana, right? It's hard to make it out, right? And it kind of it's changed because a lot of people from outside of Louisiana has been coming in, or just not from down south. And but I honestly, because they got great players outside of like down south or outside of Louisiana, great players, right? Um, but when the style has changed in college football. College football has changed throughout the year, especially like right after COVID for real.
Yeah.
Like for real, like we couldn't after COVID, we couldn't do the I'm having a brain fart, the cat drill,
Big
the
cat.
Oklahoma drill, big
Oklahoma.
cat. We couldn't do it. We couldn't. You can't really hit no more because guys get hurt. You
And
can't really. You can't.
the
Yeah,
six
you
foot
can't
rule.
tackle no more. Yeah, you said a 6 foot rule.
Well, for during COVID, 6 feet
Oh
away.
yeah, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Right, brother. So at times it's changed, and it's still like that. Even when I transferred and played my last year at UTSA, and I hear from other people on other teams in the NCAA, is hey, nobody tackles for real during the off season. So like it's a different type of competing now.
Very, very more offensive game, more high octane. John, what does the future hold for John Emery Jr.?
The future, man, brother, I'm living life right now. I am working because you can't. Yeah, I'm not playing football. I don't mean my life stops. You're right.
Yeah.
I am working. I got me a job. And I'm training kids. I want to give back to the kids and take the tools I got and give it back to them. Make sure they're prepared. And I was thinking about, and then you be talking to one of my agents and a couple coaches. Like I could go take the UFL route, go back and try to get in the NFL, bro. I could do that, and that's a thought. That's a thought. And I train. I still work. I still work out. I still make sure I keep up with my health. But right now I'm letting God just run the show. Honestly, it's still I can still play. I can tell you that.
Oh, John,
But
I
yeah.
wouldn't doubt that in an instant. I mean, the way you've come back from ACLs and ran against USC, I mean, just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
would not doubt that, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I just say, y'all shall see, you know.
John. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, for going through your unbelievable LSU career, my man. And
Yes, sir.
I cannot wait to keep chatting it up with you and keep getting to know you, my man. And thank you so
Yes,
much
sir, my brother.
for
We
all the
friends, man.
dude. Thank you so much for all the memories that you provided as an LSU Tiger and LSU legend.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate it, man. I thank you. I thank you for always keeping tabs, always being there in my corner. Always, and I thank all the fans, man. They all keep, believe it or not, I don't know if y'all believe, but y'all keep everybody that play on that team, even all sports, y'all keep us going. No, y'all keep me going for fact, but talking to all the players, y'all keep us going. And I'm grateful to say that, you was and there all the fans was with us through all the memories and everything we, went through. You know, I'm blessed, man. And I thank you for having me on this show. It was great talking to you, and I loved all the questions you asked. Man, you're awesome, Lion. Appreciate you, my brother.
John, it's an absolute freaking honor, my man. Thank you so much, John. You have a
Yes,
wonderful rest
sir.
of your night, and say what's up to your dad, and I'm gonna be texting him as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and keep in touch, man. Yeah, you should reach out to him. You'll be more than happy to hear from you.
Mr. Big
For sure, for
John.
sure.
John Emery Jr., everybody. John Emery Jr., everybody. That was John Emery Jr. going through a wild, long career of epic LSU greatness. Everybody, thank you so much for watching this with us. It's been an LSUODYSSEY.com presentation. Everybody, see you next time.